it's scary. It's scary. Giving birth is scary sometimes. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, but it's scary. So be prepared. But hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Clarice and I'm in second year of medical school. And for those who don't know me, who are new to the channel, I recently gave birth. And so I'm kind of like juggling motherhood with medical school, with, you know, being a wife, being a daughter, being a friend, being a sibling, businesswoman, you name it. I'm trying to do it all. And this channel kind of like highlights a little bit of that. But I'm just taking you on a journey with me to just experience all these things with me and see how life goes. You know, you never know. My hope is just to kind of like inspire and learn from you guys as well, but just inspire somebody out there who wants to do something that they feel like it's out of reach because of age or other limitations, to just like go for it, because life is too short to not try, you know. So I'm trying to fulfill my purpose, and that's what this channel is about. It's just kind of like progressing through the challenges and hopefully get there, and documenting the journey. So come on the journey with me. But anyway, so I just finished dropping off my son, my older son, at the nursery, and my younger son, the newborn, is sleeping downstairs. So I'm trying my best to not make so much noise. But I was like, you know what, I miss my YouTube family. I haven't released a video for like 2 weeks, which is really bad because I've been really trying to be consistent. But since giving birth, honestly, like, you know how I used to be like, oh, I have limited time. Like, right now, there is not even time. Like, I feel like I have to dig for time. There is nothing out there for me to use. So it's like, it's impossible to record anything. But I was like, okay, you know what? You have these few minutes. He might cry in a minute, and then I'll just kind of like cut this off. But just record something, you know? Stay consistent. Try to be consistent with the little time you got. So I was like, why not? But anyway, in today's video, I want to talk to you about my birth experience. Well, not my birth, my delivery experience. Delivering my son experience. Does that make sense? Okay, it makes sense. But yeah, basically, I wanted to talk to you about that because it was quite an experience. Let me just tell you. Nobody tells you about all these things. Like, I don't know why. So I'm going to share this. I'm probably going to do 2-part videos, but I'm going to share some of my experiences. I might not tell you everything because I don't want to scare you, because it's hard out there. It's really hard out there. It's scary. It's scary. Giving birth is scary sometimes. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, but it's scary. So be prepared. But I don't want to scare you. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Let's stick to the beautiful thing. But yeah, so I wanted to talk to you about that. So what happened was that it was on a Sunday morning, and I started feeling a little bit of pain here and there. And because with my older son, I really didn't have any contractions. I really didn't go through that process of like having, you know, labor pains, like in a sense of like contractions from what time to what time. I was induced basically. So this time I was like, this keeps coming and going, coming and going. What the heck is that? So I decided to time it, and it was coming on regular intervals. I was meant to wear this, by the way, but the glare is too much, and so no. But yeah, so they were regular, basically. They were like 10 minutes apart. So I phoned up the hospital, and they said that's, you know, still quite a long interval. So just stay at home, monitor it, and then when it's like 3 minutes apart, then maybe call us back, and then we'll see what needs to be done. So then the whole day I was just chilling. Well, not chilling because the pain was coming. I was like, I'll freeze a little bit and then be free for like 10 minutes, and then I'll So it was, yeah, it was funny to watch. So I carried on for the whole day. The only time I kind of struggled was when I was having a shower, and I was like, oh my god, like I'm about to fall in the shower. But it was nothing to worry about. I just opened the windows and just got some fresh air, and I was fine. But the whole day I was fine until evening time, like 7 o'clock. That's when I realized like the pains were quite regular and more frequent. By the way, a friend recommended this app. I didn't know anything about it, but it just helps you to just regulate your contractions, and so it even advises you when to go to the hospital, so that can come in handy. I don't remember what the name was, and I've actually uninstalled it from my phone, but I think it's something to do with contraction. So if you need it, just look it up in Google, Android Play, or in Apple Store. I'm sure they will be there. But anyway, so I kept this app running, and it advised me that it was time to go to the hospital. So I called the hospital, and they said, okay, come in if you're in so much pain. So we went in, and basically they kind of like said I wasn't in active labor, whatever that means. So they kind of like sent me back home because they didn't think I was actively going to deliver imminently. So they told me to go back home. So we went back home. We drove back home. By the time we go back home, I was like, okay, we need to go back, because I couldn't stand, I couldn't sit, I was so uncomfortable. I didn't have any of that regular interval, like where you can take a breath and you can have a moment to yourself a little bit before the pain comes back. It just felt like it was constantly there. And I actually phoned up the hospital again to tell them that I need to come back, and they were like, we don't think it's labor because it's continuous. And I was like, well, yeah, that's what it feels like. Maybe it's giving me a few seconds that I can't really count for because of the pain, but I feel like I should come back. And they were like, okay, come back, but we don't think it's labor yet. And I was like, okay. So we went back in. I'm telling you, like, when I was getting contractions, I could see my belly flattening. I don't know if you can see this, but it was like it was becoming so flat here. And then there would be this big bulge of a belly down there, like on my lower belly part. It will become just so bulged down there, and then up here it's just kind of flat. So it was just like pushing the baby down. I tell you not, I kid you not, I was so scared of actually getting up, of standing up, because I was like, this baby's gonna drop. But that was just in my mind. It was just, yeah, it wasn't true. It wasn't gonna drop. But I was so scared, and the pain was so excruciating. I had to get a wheelchair. I couldn't walk. So we got wheelchair, went back in, and we actually saw the same midwife that had received me a few minutes prior, or hour prior. And yeah, this time she decided to check my cervix to see how far I've dilated, if I've even dilated. And I had been I was 6 centimeters dilated, so I was more than halfway. So that was great, because at least it was like they believe me I'm actually in active labor. So they gave me a room, they gave me a bed. They were really lovely, really lovely. So there was a midwife and a midwife student, and they were just amazing, really calming, really welcoming, nice, and just, I can't fault them, basically. So now the pain, that is the issue, the pain. I had made up my mind that I will use whatever painkillers they gave me, because so previously I had used Epidural and it worked perfectly well. But this time around I was like, you know what, I'm gonna use every other drug other than epidural, unless I really need to. So they started me on gas and air. It wasn't doing anything for me. I was literally just there like, what's happening? What's going on? Like, I don't feel anything. Like, is it there? It just tasted awful, like just making me nauseous. So nothing. Then they gave me a dimorphin, which I thought was gonna kick in because, you know, it's morphine, you know, morphine. And I was like, okay, let's do this. Nothing. The pain was still there, and I was just like, okay, well, what's left? What's next? Epidural. So I was like, yeah, give it to me, because I'm in so much pain. And the reason why I wanted the epidural is because they had told me they would come back in 4 hours to check me again. 4 hours of that excruciating pain. Like, how am I supposed to survive? How am I supposed to get to that point in 4 hours? And maybe, hopefully, I'm fully dilated and I'm not just on a, you know, 1 centimeter dish, 1 centimeter extra of dilation. Hopefully I'll be fully dilated. And 4 hours of pain, constant pain that I was feeling, I was like, no, just give me the epidural. So they called the anesthetist, and he came in, and it just felt like it was just, I don't even remember what the heck was happening. I was just in so much pain. So he was explaining to me about everything, and then it just felt like it was taking forever for him to do it. I was like, oh my God. I didn't scream or anything. I was just chilled, waiting patiently, because, you know, one day, if I'm in that position, I want the patience from the patient, because, you know, you don't want to make any mistakes. You don't want to make any mistakes. So I wasn't rushing him or anything. He could see that I'm in pain. So come on now. I'm sure he was doing his best to be as fast as he can. But to me personally, and even to my husband, it felt like an eternity. It was like, what the hell is happening? But finally, he got everything together, and he, you know how you have to get in position. Yeah, it's a whole process. But yeah, I got in position, and he inserted the needle, and the catheter that, you know, supposed to deliver the epidural, and they started administering the epidural, and they had to cannulate me, which was quite painful. Oh my God, it was here. I still have the scar. It was so painful, but yes. So I'm hoping that it kicks in fast. Hopefully it kicks in. But shortly after that, he came back and told me he thinks he made a tiny little bit of error and put the needle too far in the layer where he's supposed to administer the epidural. So he went too far. He went a little bit further into the spine. And so he told me there is potential of getting side effects once the epidural is worn out. I was like, okay, all right. So because my epidural now was going into the spine, I was getting better pain control, basically. I think I was kind of like pain-free up to like maybe, I don't know, I'm going to guess like T8, around that area. I think most of the time it was way above where he inserted the needle. And I think most of the time you get the pain, you're pain-free below the level of insertion, basically. But I was going above the level of insertion. So they were doing these checks all the time, like checking where my my sensory stop. And sometimes it would just keep going up, and I was like, oh boy. But I was pain-free, which is what I wanted at that particular time. So I was like, you know what, I'm not going to worry about anything. Great. I had to be constantly monitored, closely monitored, because my blood pressure was dropping due to that. Epidural does make your blood pressure drop, but basically my blood pressure was dropping, and so they had to make sure that I'll be fine, especially since it was spinal. So then I kind of slept because I was pain free. Yeah. After 4 hours, they came and checked me, and I was dilated, fully dilated. And then I pushed, and I pushed for 12 good minutes. And it was just the midwife and the student and my husband, and that was just the three of us in the room. And we did it by ourselves. Well, I did it by myself for 12 minutes, which apparently was a record because people have to push longer, and I broke the record for some reason. But so that was good. So I got my baby boy. He was perfect. He was healthy, and it was just great. It was great. And it was just a moment that I'll never forget, because it just made everything make sense. All the struggle that I went through with my pregnancy, and it was just a perfect moment. And then I had to wait for my placenta to come out, and it was just a good, when you're a med student, you've studied all these theories, and then you finally get to see the real thing. So I saw my placenta, I saw the umbilical cord, and it was just perfect. It was a good learning experience. So I had my baby, and for those who had actually watched my other video, I was meant to do an exam. It was a mock exam, but on that day, that's when I gave birth. The early morning of that day, that's when I gave birth. So here's me, early mornings after giving birth. I'm having to email the School of Medicine telling them, I'm sorry, I can't turn up. I just had a baby. Yeah, and that's how it went. In part 2, I will let you know what happened with the epidural. Once the epidural wears out, now that is the story. Okay, so till next time, stay tuned. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I will hopefully see you next week. Honestly, I am trying my best to find time and be consistent, and I will do my best to make sure that I release that next week. But if not, be patient with me. Okay, be patient. More to come. Thank you so much. God bless. Bye.